Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're looking forward to an exciting webinar tonight to talk about Countdown to College. It is the kickoff to North Carolina Countdown to College, October 1. And for the entire month, we have a full steam ahead of information to help you and your parents, students, educators about how to best prepare you for this upcoming week. Tonight's session specifically, we're going to go over the importance of updating your CFNC accounts, college application week details that I think you're going to need to know, and how to go ahead and get your studentaid.gov, your FAFSA account. These are all things you're probably already working on, but we're going to certainly make sure that you have the option tonight to ask questions if you have them. Let's go ahead and get started, and I'll introduce our guest speaker with you tonight. Dr. Jennifer Burris is a school counselor with Beaufort County Schools, and I am the CFNC Outreach, Associate Outreach Director in the Northeast part of the state. So again, we welcome you on the call tonight. It would be certainly remiss of me if I did not mention that we are certainly aware of everything that's happening in the western part of our state. We feel for our friends and our family out there, and we're going to do the best we can this month to accommodate those families that have been displaced, having to relocate, re-evacuate, and evacuate, and don't have access to internet, and no telling when they will. So we're going to handle that the best we can as we progress through this month. And so please know that if by chance you're in the western part of our state tonight and you're on the call, we feel for you and we understand your situation. So I'm excited about this opportunity that Jennifer could be with me tonight. I do have to share too that our guest speaker that was originally scheduled for tonight is a counselor from Buncombe County, and she has been displaced from her home. So very fortunately, she's safe. Her family is safe. The pets are safe. They've relocated to Florida. So Dr. Burris was very kind and courteous to help me out tonight to fill in for that counselor that could not be on tonight. So let's go ahead and get started in looking at the agenda. Here's what we're going to talk about tonight. Updating your information in your CFNC profile is going to be very key. Where do you go to do that? What to update? And why are you having to update that information? We're going to look at college application instructions, where to get started, and how to get help during that specific week of this month. And we're going to talk about the dates and the times for that particular week of college application week. If you're not familiar on the call tonight with college application week, it is the initiative that we have in our state that many institutions will waive their application fees to allow students, obviously, to save some money in their pockets to apply for free to colleges that week. And we're going to talk about the studentaid.gov account, which is all related to the FAFSA, where to go and why to get the account. And thankfully, Jennifer's going to offer some insight and point of view from what she is doing in her school system and specifically her school to help students and families out in preparation for college application week. And lastly, we've put a new spin on the sessions this year that we're offering the opportunity for students and parents perhaps to get gift card, to win a gift card after each session. And we'll give more instructions about that at the end. So, all right, so let's get started. So updating your CFNC account. If you, of course, can gain access to your account, number one, it's very important that now, if you have not already, if you are a high school senior, it is now important for you to update your mailing address. Make sure it's correct. Make sure that you are choosing that you are a high school student, that you're connected to your current high school, that you have your North Carolina student number. If you are a public high school student in our state, then of course you have a student ID number assigned by DPI. And then we're going to talk about, of course, and I'm going to show you where you can update your personal email address. We prefer and we recommend, and Jennifer may share the same with you, that you include your personal email address and not your school email address in your account. That will be the point of contact from colleges once you submit your applications. Of course, once you graduate, you won't have access to that any longer. So let's go ahead and jump into this. And where are you going to go to update this account? If you've not been familiar with CFNC too much, or if you're not sure where to go, I'll share this with you or simply remind you tonight. Number one, when you log into cfnc.org, in the upper right-hand corner, there's the login button. Make sure that you can log in prior to college application week, and that kicks off October 21st. If you can't remember your username or your password, it's perfectly okay to use right there on the screen either the forgot your username or forgot password feature, and it will retrieve that particular account name or password for you on the screen as long as you know your email address, as long as you know your name, and your security question. So that's a great way that you can seek the help to. There's another way you can get help resetting that password through your counselor, and we'll talk about that toward the end. So your profile, once you are logged in, is where you will see all of your demographic data. So here's just a highlight. Make sure your high school, you're associated with a high school student. Make sure your student number is correct. And this is important, your high school student, because for some of you, if by chance you created an account when you were in middle school, then it may still say middle school student, but yet you've already assigned yourself to your current high school. The two don't match on the back end when you're ready to proceed to the next steps of college application week. So make sure indeed you're listed as a high school student and your student number is accurate. If you are a private school student, you do not need to worry about the North Carolina student number. It's perfectly okay that that field be left blank. Okay? And make sure you have your personal email address listed here. We just blocked out personal email here. And your graduation year, you're listed as a 12th grader graduating in 2025. Even if you are an early college high school student, we do not have the capabilities to list like a 4th and a 5th year. However, you still go by the year that you're graduating. So if you are that 5th year senior and you're graduating 2025, of course, select that option. And again, make sure your address is up to date. Here is, if you scroll down that profile a little bit further, you'll see the section that says School Connection. Here is where you will connect yourself to your current high school. This is important because this information, again, must match with your NC student ID number if you're a public high school student in order to have transcripts sent to colleges. So make sure your primary connection is your current high school. So again, as a review, why did I tell you to update those 5 or 6 things in your account? Number one, if you are a student attending a public high school in our state, you have the capability to send your transcripts for free to any college in the state. It is considered your official transcript. However, when you request the transcript and it's sent successfully to the colleges, just note, I want to make sure you know this, that when you can retrieve this in your application hub, there will be a watermark that comes across that transcript that says unofficial. We do that so you don't print these off and thinking that you could share them with colleges in an official capacity. You cannot. What was delivered successfully to the colleges on the back end was an official copy. They know that they accept CFNC transcripts. There's no college in our state that will not accept a CFNC transcript because it is your official copy. Unfortunately, private school students right now, all of you don't have the capability to do that. We're in a pilot project, a trial period, testing some private schools, so maybe eventually we'll have more to come along. Here's another reason that I told you as I started about that password reset. You have the capability, if your email address is up to date and you can access that email, that your school counselor they have the capability to log in on the back end of CFNC to run reports and to do other things for you as you're using CFNC. They have the capability to send a password reset to your email. If necessary, if you can't successfully do it yourself, you can reach out to them and they can send that to you. And of course, one of the most popular reasons to ensure that all your data is up to date is some of the fields that you're sharing in your profile of CFNC will auto-populate your college applications. So that's good news. So you won't have to answer those questions on every college application within CFNC that you're completing, as long as that information is up to date in your profile. That's the good news. That's the great news that students typically like the feature of College Foundation. And of course, the email address, we've already talked about that. Once you leave your high school, soon thereafter, you won't have access to that email address any longer. So if you need to get back into your account, again, you won't have a way to log into that school email address to get that password reset or for the colleges to communicate with you. You may not be getting communications. So ensure that you're putting a personal email now into your account. And other big reasons why, of course, you have to access your CFNC account, the NC Residency Determination Service. That's huge in our state. You know that that's a requirement in order for you to gain residency in our state and to be charged correctly with your tuition. And of course, to ensure that you can be eligible for any state grants from North Carolina. I think Jennifer's going to share more insight about that with her particular school. And another reason that's brand new to our state is the new North Carolina College Connect. This is for students interested in 6 particular colleges in our state that have the capability to allow you to complete a simplified application. That's right, a simplified application, no essays, um, no personal statements needed. Basically, 3 questions you're asked, but you have to qualify. This will come later to you. More information is on our website at nccollegeconnect.org. We're not going to go into a whole lot of detail about that tonight, but know if you meet the eligibility requirements, you're going to receive a letter in the mail from DPI, the Department of Public Instruction. And this again is just this year because it's a pilot year that we're testing this, will only be for public high school students. And of course, your school counselors at your school will have a list of all the students who met the qualifications, if indeed you have interest in these 6 particular schools. Again, go to our website, the nccollegeconnect.org, to see all the information about that. Okay? So now let's talk about details, the very specifics of college application week. I've said it only about 10 or 12 times already tonight. So the timing of this particular week is October 21st. That's a Monday. Kicks off at 7:30 that morning. And this year, for the first time ever, we've allowed it to run through the weekend. So until 11:59 on the next Sunday night, we allow you to submit applications on CFNC's website for those that are waiving the fees, and you pay no money to submit those applications. Um, Please know the second bullet point is very important. Our call center staff in Raleigh, we have a number of people that work our call center and email to help answer questions every day of the year, Monday through Thursday and Friday. We do not work on the weekends. So for that particular week, we will have call center staff and IT support at College Foundation to help you with any issues, maybe issues that you're having at school as your school counselors are helping you complete applications. So the timing is here on the screen, 8 till 6 Monday through Thursday, and on Friday only until 5. And remember too that it's not a guarantee. We don't know if college admissions offices will be open over the weekend either. So you may not can pick up the telephone and call Chowan University or East Carolina University to ask a question regarding that application. So make sure you're planning accordingly and with your school for the times that they may be working with you that particular week. So this was an idea that we just came up with this year to help a lot of our sporting and teams, our athletes who maybe otherwise are too jammed for time during the week, to allow them for a chance to finish any application over the weekend. Again, make sure you can log into your account before October 21st. The list of the colleges that will be waiving the fees will be released soon. I do want to share with you that our plan was to release it today. However, after much discussion yesterday with everything that's going on in the western part of our state, and as you know, many of our institutions have closed campuses. Students are no longer on campuses. They don't have power. They don't have internet. We have appropriate personnel with our UNC system, our community college system, and the private colleges, NCICU, reaching out to those institutions that originally were on this list to find out if they continue to plan to waive their fees. We don't know if they'll even be operational come 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks. So they may not be in a place to be able to accept applications. So we're working on that right now. And so we're going to post that list coming very soon. We don't have a set date in mind. It's too hard to tell that right now, and we need to give some time to our western part of the state and those institutions that are very much so hurting right now. Okay, so remember this. You must be on College Foundation's website to apply to any of those colleges that will indeed waive the fees. You cannot go out to Common App. You cannot go out to their portal page and start the application and expect the fee to be waived. You must come to cfnc.org. Most all of the applications will keep you on our website. However, if you encounter what we call any linked applications, which means they will take you to another site to apply, remember, after you complete that application, you have to come back to CFNC to start the next application. So I'm going to totally make this up because this has been the case in the past. UNC Asheville, as bad as they're hurting right now, and they're not functioning right now, they had been a linked college during college application week. They linked students to Common App, and they allowed students to complete for free through the Common App. They made the arrangements themselves with Common App to waive the fee. We don't handle that for them because we have no connection to the Common App portal. Okay, just to make sure you're aware of that. Jennifer's son is a student at UNC Asheville. I think she may share some insight to that. And make sure you're always coming back throughout this month to cfnc.org/C2C for all the details and the updates about other sessions that we're hosting and any information regarding this month and specifically College Application Week. And lastly, as I just stated, we cannot assist with questions regarding Common App, so make sure you're on the right website, that's CFNC, for your fee waiver, okay? Where do you go to find your applications? You're going to go to the Apply to College section and click on your application hub. The good news is, as you start applications, and if there's some information that you don't know that you cannot finish, if you've got a sporting event that night and you're not able to complete it and submit it in one sitting, that's okay. You can start it, save it, and come back to your applications later. That's perfectly okay. But just remember, by 11:59 on that Sunday night, that's the end. That's the draw. That's the last time the application fees will be waived. We are not going to guarantee at midnight or 12:01 on October 28th that that fee will be waived. So make sure you have any saved applications that you plan to submit fully submitted by midnight, by 11:59. Here's what a linked campus looks like. Duke University is one of those campuses. They're not a campus that waives application fees, though. Let me make that clear. This is just an example of what the wording looks like when you land on a linked campus. So Duke does not waive fees. They will never waive fees. Chapel Hill does not waive fees. So at the bottom of the screen there, you may not can see it too clearly, but it says you will be linked to an external website to complete your application. And if you need to send your NC Electronic High School transcript, make sure you send them through the CFNC application hub. So they're still very kind to give you reminders about coming to CFNC and what to do to ensure that you get all the appropriate details submitted to that institution. Okay? And lastly, in this process of college application month, college application week, and countdown to college month, you're going to be working on your applications, you're going to be working on your RDS, and also while you cannot do your FAFSA now, it will not be open until December sometime or another, we hope. We're keeping all fingers crossed and everything else that it will open in December, but we just don't know that for sure yet. You can go ahead and get your studentaid.gov account. So both the student and one of your parents at least, there are situations that maybe both parents will need an ID, a login. And what is it? It's a username and password that you create. That's the way you get into your studentaid.gov account. That's where you complete your FAFSA at studentaid.gov. Make sure you save that login because you're going to use it every year that you're completing the FAFSA. Not just this year, every year. If by chance parents, any of you have completed a FAFSA for another student or for yourself in the past couple of years, you're going to use your same studentaid.gov account that you've been logging in to complete that other student's FAFSA or your own for this upcoming student that's graduating in 2025. You do not need to go out to get a new account. So we're very fortunate. Just today, we found out on the website at studentaid.gov as you're completing a FAFSA, there is a parent wizard that can help you figure out which parent you will need to help file the FAFSA in the case of a separation or divorce where parents are not living together. There could be a reason that you need to figure out which parent's going to help you. If you don't have parents that live together and are married, filing taxes jointly, in that situation, you typically just need one parent to get an account, a login. Okay. Other reasons to have an account login, you're going to fill out the FAFSA. You're going to complete any other online forms. Maybe if you ever have to borrow loans from the federal government, you have to complete what we call your master promissory note. And indeed, you can review your student aid that you've received at your account. So a lot of good reasons over the course of time, these next couple of years, that you need to make sure you know your login to get back in to check things, in addition to doing the FAFSA. Okay? All right. So Jennifer, we're going to have you at this point. I hope you're able to unmute yourself. And I want you to share, if you can, any insight about what you've been doing at Southside High and as you're guiding your students and the parents along, what has been most helpful for you at your school. And I have to share also on the screen that you see that Jennifer is also the North Carolina School Counselor Association Northeast Region first vice president. So Jennifer, welcome and thank you for being on tonight. And please feel welcome to share any insight that you can. Are you able to unmute yourself? You may have to put that in the chat. I'm sorry. All right. Well, I apologize for that. let's see. Soretta, do you see that capability?
I do.
Okay. Let's see. Jennifer. All right. And I'm going to allow her to talk. Okay. And let's see. All right, Jennifer, are
Can,
you
can
able
you
to?
hear me now?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. All right.
Good, good, good.
Okay. Look, I had raised my hand. I had done everything I was trying to do to communicate. And I apologize. I had to switch over to my laptop because I couldn't get the Chromebook to hear you. So I apologize. We've had some technical difficulties
No
tonight,
problem.
everyone. My apologies for everything. I A lot of what Amy has said tonight, I'm just going to kind of reiterate about how we go about doing things at Southside to get seniors ready for this uh, such an important part of their senior year. Uh, this time of year can be overwhelming for seniors and for senior parents, and just a daunting time. And I want to just start out by saying, how do you eat an elephant? You just eat an elephant one bite at a time. And so I've got a list of steps here that we share with our seniors, working our way up to the actual college application week. And I don't know if Amy can access that Google Doc just to kind of use um,
Let's see. I'm gonna.
as a visual.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just something that we share with our seniors, and I think it kind of breaks it down for you kind of easily, and students and parents can kind of look at it and just take it one step at a time, so you don't feel so overwhelmed with all the different things that you get thrown at you. You feel like kind of thrown at you all at once. Um, I don't know if she can get that pulled
Yeah.
up.
Let me bounce back over to share. Let's see if this is going to work. Do you see that?
Yes, there we
Okay.
go.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So first of all, and I'll point this out too to all of our North Carolina residents here. CFNC is such a wonderful tool. I share this with our freshmen, our sophomores, our juniors, and our seniors. Our students are so inundated with knowing what CFNC is. They get a login when they start middle school, actually, in our school division, because it is such a wealth of knowledge and such a wonderful tool for students to get familiar with the college planning process, the college, how do you pay for college process, everything. It's a one-stop shop. It's just, and it stays up to date. Students can go in and get familiar with the colleges in the state of North Carolina. It's just a wonderful place. And if parents are not familiar with the CFNC website, I would add that to the list of things to do to get ready for college application week, just to get familiar with the CFNC website and all that it offers. I think kind of towards the bottom of this particular handout here that I have, the page there are all different kinds of CFNC particular pages that will tell you more about what's there. But if you'll scroll back up to that step one, we really kind of try to get our students before college application week to walk through and get that residency determination service process, that RDS process, completed. It really doesn't take all that long. I would say about 30 minutes, but it's something that really needs to be done, in particular for students who are planning to go on to a community college. And we have a good percentage in our building that do that. I would say 40% of our students are community college bound. And then a lot of them start out at a community college and then they transfer on to a four-year institution. But the community college application requires that RDS number or the RCN number before you can actually finish the actual application. And so if you can get that RDS process, that application completed before college application week and get your RCN number or RDS number ready and handy on and have that ready to go. That's a big step in the process to be done. And like I said, it takes 30, maybe 40 minutes to do. It's going to ask questions like your license number, a social security number, and that information also will come from a parent as well. I sat through it last year. It took 35, maybe 40 minutes to complete. And if everything is completed and everything is filled out correctly, you can get your RCN number back very quickly. So I would encourage you to get that done as soon as you can. And that's open now. You can go ahead and complete that now, that RDS process. You can log into CFNC using your CFNC login information, go to the residency determination login or the link there at the CFNC website, and it'll log you in and you can start that process. So I would encourage you to get that, and that's a relatively easy step one process for RDS. And what that does is that verifies that you are indeed a North Carolina resident and you can be charged in-state tuition, which is what everybody wants. Because if you've ever seen the difference between in-state tuition and out-of-state tuition, we all want in-state tuition. We all want that tuition price tag, not the out-of-state. So make sure you get that done. So step one, RDS used to be our step two. And then I got wise after a couple of years of doing college application week and moved it to step one because it became a barrier for a lot of our students in the college application process. So we moved that to step one. So RDS is our step one. And then our step two is the actual college application week. I'm so glad that the folks who are planning college application week have now included a weekend. I think that's really important for students like our athletes or students who are working or for whatever reason can't seem to get it done. It happens to fall on the National Agriculture FFA week is the same exact week. And we've got some students who are going to be at nationals that particular week. And so I'm so glad that it is actually including a weekend. So all different kinds of events are going on that may keep a kid from not being able to get it done during that particular week during school hours. So I'm glad it is including a weekend. Again, you'd log in using your CFNC account, and you would choose to start the application under the application hub section. I think Amy covered a little bit of that already. I have a place here on this handout where students can write in their login and their password. Students are like everybody else. Usernames and passwords are hard to come by, hard to remember. So that's one of the reasons why I have that there, but they can start their process there at school. We help them kind of walk through the process. If it's something that they can't seem to finish in that particular time frame, then they're able to log in at home and maybe finish up with a parent and then click that submit button before the 27th comes and goes. So they can start that application that particular week and capitalize on those that free week, which is great. And then of course, step three is completing the FAFSA. Now, Amy's already mentioned this, and we're holding our breath that December is still the time frame, which we're great. We're happy about that. Keeping our fingers crossed. And what I would encourage folks to do is pay attention or tune in to any of the local community colleges. A lot of them will sponsor a FAFSA night or a FAFSA afternoon on Saturdays. And a lot of times high schools will share that information. So you tune into that. I know last year, my son Alex and I went to Beaufort Community College's one. I had never actually walked through that process online. If it tells you how old I am, I filled out the FAFSA on paper and pencil when I did it for myself. And so actually walking through the entire process with a child was new to me. So we went to a FAFSA day at Beaufort Community College, and it was extremely helpful. So if you're able to do that, then I would encourage you to capitalize on any FAFSA days that are in your local area. The people there they're ran by the financial aid office. And even if your child is not attending that community college, they will help you. So I would encourage you to capitalize on those resources as well as you have questions. And then later on down in this particular handout, I just have all these different links that talk about different resources that are there, just different handouts. There's the, if you want to click on the college map, Amy, I think that might be there. It shows students where all the colleges are.
Are we able to see that? Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. And so this is just an example of all the different resources that are there on the website. This is just one of many. I can't tell you how lucky we are here in North Carolina to have this as a resource. And then also, of course, parents want to look at the pay for college as well, the college, how to get there from here. This is all great advice here on this handout. Taking a college tour. If you can't get there in person, most colleges on their website have a great virtual tour. I tell students all the time just to check out the website itself. You can do a college search on CFNC's website. You can narrow it down by distance. You can do it by the size of the class. You can do it by professor to student ratio. You can do it by suburban or urban setting. It's amazing all the different kinds of searches that you can do. And of course, you can search by major as well. And then, yep, you can do the admissions essay tips. I think that's very helpful as well. Gives you all kinds of good information there about writing your college essay.
And this can be found, Jennifer, I'll just note, under that same apply section through the application resources that you see the breadcrumbs there that gets you to this. So again, you can stay right there on our website to find this. So that's very helpful. Good idea.
And then that last link that I included is, this is the one that parents want to pay attention to the most. How are you paying for college? How do we get there? What's the difference between a grant and a scholarship? What's the difference between a loan and a scholarship? What is work study? What does all that mean? This page gives you the definition of everything. It even provides a link for you to the FAFSA website. Mm-hmm. It also shows you where you can go to get your FSA ID and go ahead and create your username and account as we all wait for December to roll around. So when it comes time to fill out the actual FAFSA, you'll be ready to go with that. Lots of great information here. So really and truly, getting ready for that college application week, I would do two things. I would make sure I understood and knew where things were on the CFNC website, and I would get my RDS completed. And those would be the two big things that I would do in preparation.
That's wonderful, Jennifer. Thank you so much for that. Super helpful. And your insight is always important, and I appreciate that because, when we're not in the shoes of you and an educator at a school, it's quite often difficult for us to know how to best prepare students and families. So are you back to seeing the PowerPoint presentation now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to wrap up with a couple of things about, as I mentioned earlier, the chance to win. So for your attendance tonight, what we're doing each week is after each session that we're giving, we're having 4 this month. I'm going to show you those dates on the next slide. But for after tonight, If you want to log in to your CFNC account and take a picture of your dashboard, similar to what I've done here, and post it to your favorite social media. If student, you don't have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, but your parent does, it's okay for your parent to log in to do this. But the main thing is you're putting the hashtag C2C prep, like I've done here. I've just took a quick glance of my dashboard today and I posted. Just make sure no personal information is showing, and you'll be randomly chosen. You'll enter of those of you that attended tonight to win a $25 Amazon gift card. And each week, again, you have the chance to do this. So next week, we're hosting the session on where to find career information and select colleges for College Application Week. That's on October 9th. And then on the 10th, we're having a virtual career fair. So let's talk IT. So we've got some special guests coming in to talk about IT professions. So we're excited about that opportunity. And what do we do next? The week prior to College Application Week, we're going to go into a whole lot more details. We have two special guests joining us for that session. They both work hands-on with college access groups in the state and with the UNC system or CFNC Pathways team to talk about the specific details with the functionality of College Application Week. And lastly, and good timing, we're going to talk about the final week of the month on how to pay for college. We have a retired financial aid administrator that used to work at UNC Wilmington and also at Cape Fear Community College, who will be on to offer all the insight about how to pay for college and finding scholarships. So you can go to two places. You can scan the QR code here on this slide, or you can go out to cfnc.org, C2C, and you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen a link for the virtual student sessions, and that's where you can register for any upcoming session. We will have for you there, and each week will tell you the specific hashtag that you need to use for that week to be able to enter the gift card drawing. Okay, so it's pretty cool. And lastly, always stay connected with us. If you want to follow us on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, we have certainly a YouTube channel. And you can also scan this QR code to sign up for any of our CFNC update emails that we have out there. You can select what type of newsletter you would wish to get more information on. So this is an option for you as you progress through this month and through the remainder of your school year as you're preparing for the big day of college. So at this time, let's see, we're going to open up for any questions. Soretta, are you able to unmute? And then I'm going to allow
Yes, I'm
Jennifer.
unmuted.
Okay, and Jennifer, you too, if you need to unmute there. Were there any questions? I know we're not sure if many questions came in through the chat or the Q&A or any other insight that you'd like to offer.
We had a couple of questions that came through, and in one in particular, they wanted to know is when is the planned release date for which colleges will waive fees on College Application Week. And of course, you stated that already, October the 21st through the 27th. We'll be releasing that list of colleges and universities. Hopefully by the latter part of this week, you'll be able to see those colleges that are actually participating in College Application Week. As Amy so eloquently stated, we are understanding what the western part of the state is going through. So we want to give them some time to gather themselves. And of course, we've extended that. So look forward to receiving that. That's going to be some hot news off the press, and I'm pretty sure counselors will be sending that out, making you aware of it. And then I also put in the chat the actual link to College Application Week. I put that in the Q&A, but I'll put it in the chat as well, Amy.
Great. Thank you, Soretta. Jennifer, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I think she covered that really well. We too at our high school are just kind of waiting on that list, and we'll send it out once we get it.
All right, perfect. And I think we had one other question. If I can allowed you to unmute yourself, you're welcome to publicly ask it if you'd like.
Hello.
Yes.
I have a question. Is there any specific opening date for RDS service? I know she mentioned it's open now, but what if we want to, check it before October?
Yes, RDS never actually closes. It remains available to students and families year round. But in specifically what Jennifer meant by that was it's the time that you need to complete it. There is a window of time after you receive your RCN that it becomes it's only valid for 15 months, and you must be enrolled in a college at that point. So that's why we don't have and we don't encourage families prior to the summer of their senior year to complete it. So you can go to ncresidency.org, and the student would need to log in with their account information, their CFNC account, for you as a family to go ahead and complete that. Jennifer did mention earlier that the majority of the questions are going to be asked about the parents, because that's the state law and very likely federal law, that the residency of a student is determined by the domicile of the parent. So that's why the majority of the questions will be asked of the parent. So if that does help you with your question, you can certainly go in at any point to go ahead and do your residency. If your child is graduating in the fall of 2020, June of 2025, and entering college in the fall of 2025, it's now the time. You're in that 15-month window to allow that RCN to still be active.
Understood. Thank you
Perfect.
so much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Any other questions? You're welcome to put it in the chat, or again, we could unmute you to ask your question publicly. And let's see. We've got one other person coming in now, I think, with a question. Go ahead, Chase.
Yes, it's actually Chase's mom.
Okay.
My son attended 1 year of middle school in North Carolina, and he attended last year and then this year in North Carolina. How would I know if he has a CFNC account already?
You may not necessarily know that unless you just try to log in. And Jennifer may come in with another answer too, that quite often, depending upon the school system, as they do in Beaufort County, it's a great system. As they create accounts in the middle school, those accounts are carried over with them to the high school, and the counselors would have access to that. But that's not a guarantee, and I would say by far the majority of the school system in our state don't have that same practice. So if you just wanted to try to log in with something perhaps that he may remember, or do the forgot your username, and if there was an email address that he's had over the course of the past couple of years, I would dare say probably try the school email. That seems to be popular, to see if that can retrieve at least his username. If it does, then of course, he's got an account. Then the next step is to retrieve the password for the account. Did that help you?
Yes,
Well,
yes. I just didn't want to create two accounts.
No, and you're right. If he doesn't recall creating an account in his high school days, it would be perfectly okay. A middle school account, or an account sitting out 9th, 10th grade that he no longer can remember or access, it's going to be okay to go ahead and create a new account. We don't want families creating and students creating new accounts, certainly as a senior, when they've already done some sort of important activity, like complete an application, complete RDS, already logged in under an account. It's somewhat of a nightmare for the student and for the school counselors, when you have students with multiple logins and having several activities under each login. It's very hard to track that on the back end. So good question. Great question.
Thank you for that.
Sure. Any others? I know we've gone longer than our 30-minute time frame, but this has been wonderful and the insight has been perfect. So your questions are helpful for everyone. So, and I just want to thank you for attending tonight. Thank you, Jennifer, so much for your help and for your last minute agreeing to pull us through. And again, we have all our thoughts and prayers with Sarah Peterson and her family as they're processing and dealing with the devastation of where she's at too. And Soretta, thank you for being on to help me with questions and answers. And let's see, we'll have one more question here before we wrap up. All right, Jaden?
Hi. Do free transcripts only work for colleges that decide to waive fees during college application week, or does it also work for other UNC schools that decide not to waive fees?
Good question. It works for any institution, no matter the timing of year. So you may find, if you don't know this already, that many schools that are on the Common App, it's the counselor responsibility to upload your transcript through the Common App portal. So of course, they have to submit the transcript that way. So therefore, it would not be necessarily a need to submit it via CFNC. However, East Carolina is a great example. They allow students to submit through CFNC, the Common App, and through their Pirate portal. But specifically during the week of college application week, they prefer that all transcripts, and actually, truth be told, they prefer any other time of year, their transcript submission come through CFNC. So does that kind of help you, Jaden? You can do it any time of year. But certainly some schools that if they're selecting to stay on CFNC and for the Common Application Week, certainly I can't even get that out. College Application Week, I'm mixing the two terms, then you can indeed submit it that week and any other time as well.
All right, thank you. That helped a lot. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right. Okay. Well, thank you all. Thank you again, Jennifer, Soretta. I really appreciate your help tonight. And I
Thank
hope
you very much, Amy.
You're welcome. And I hope the rest of you have a great week and certainly a good North Carolina countdown to college, as well as a college application week. We're here to help you through this process, as well as your school counselors and your support system at your school. So thank you again, and I wish you very well. Good night.